So here I am clicking into the draft to start my second core values post. I decided to copy and paste the ending of my previous post into the top of this post because I was going to reference the end of the other one here. So I'm sort of just breaking out concepts from that part of the last post into the new post right now for my intro. For these videos, I decided to just wear whatever I was wearing that day, however I looked in that moment, because I was starting a lot of them at like 9 o'clock at night and I couldn't be bothered. One thing you won't see in this video is the editing process. I decided to save that for after I'm done creating the video just because there's a lot of back and forth and I feel like it would be annoying to watch, but if you want to see it, let me know in the comments. I actually also sped this video up a teeny tiny bit because it was really slow, and the reason is because I'm using a MacBook Air from 2013. I'm planning on writing a post about this, but I'm waiting for the next MacBook Air to come out with the M3 chip for me to buy a new MacBook Air. So you'll just have to bear with me until then. Apparently, it's coming out in March of this year, so you won't have to struggle for too long to watch me write very slowly. So far in these core value posts, I've decided to start with a definition of the word that I'm talking about as my core value. I just think that's a good way to start because it lets everyone understand a universal meaning behind the word, and then I can get into what it means for me and my company. So here I'm researching a definition of the word knowledge that resonates with me the most. I chose not to switch between tabs because I just thought it would take me much less time to find the right definition, but it ended up taking longer than I thought. So I'm using Beehiiv, which is a newsletter editor that has all the tools that you'd want in a newsletter editor. I've found it's very easy to use. I really like the interface. And so far, it's been smooth sailing for me using it. So I just used the block quote feature to input a definition of knowledge that I liked a lot. It's actually really funny to watch my own face as I'm writing because I feel like I'm not really aware of a lot of the little things that I do while writing. Like, yeah, I just had to stretch my back, I guess. So at this point, I'm getting into explaining why I chose the word knowledge as a core value instead of awareness. And I later edited this because I wanted to dive deeper into the meanings of each of those words. And it was kind of hard for me to figure out a a real core difference, but then I found a definition of each that was really helpful. So you'll see that in the live post after the editing process. And I'll link to the live post in the description box below. For some reason, I'm smiling at this part, and I don't remember why. I swear I literally just inhaled and exhaled the same exact time as my video. Thinking hard here. So here I am wearing a different outfit because this is actually the next day. And you'll see the text does not end where it ended the day before. That's because I wrote a little bit more of the post without realizing that my screen wasn't recording. But don't worry, it's all in the live published newsletter, which I will link to below. But I'm about to get into the knowledge of experiences shared by others, and the section above that was about knowledge of the authentic self. And I kind of explored how each of the modalities that STARRYUU is centered around helps offer knowledge that can bring people closer to who they really are. So now this section, knowledge of experiences shared by others, I'm starting to talk about how STARRYUU is a social platform and the importance of people sharing their knowledge so other people can learn from their experiences. And this part I struggled a bit again with the difference between knowledge and awareness, but I figured it out and you can read it in the newsletter. Funny note about this sweater I'm wearing. I once came across another person who was wearing the exact same sweater, which is really weird because I got this sweater at an estate sale and it was just in a pile of other sweaters that used to belong to some old man. And I never expected to see this sweater on anyone else. And the other weird thing is the person was from North Carolina and I live in Los Angeles. So I'm just like, how did this happen? And how did we come across each other? And I really wanted to be their friend, but I don't think they were that interested. I kind of just went on a flow with this huge paragraph and kept writing and then broke it up into different paragraphs later. I'm like fidgeting a lot more, and it's because I was definitely struggling with this part. I also just want to let you know that I do not have an editor for this newsletter. It's something I would love to have in the future. The posts are really long. They're like 2 to 3 to 4,000 words. And I really like that because it's a place where I can just write and write and write. And it doesn't have to be shortened for any reason. So it's just kind of my space to write as much as I want. I do know that I need to be edited, but I don't have that luxury right now. So you'll notice that I write pretty similarly to how I speak, which is not always a bad thing, but it's always good to have someone else read your writing. And yeah, I'm just kind of going with that style right now. I think also because it is like a company newsletter, it doesn't read so corporate because I'm writing in such a casual way, which I like. Because although STARRYUU is an incorporated entity, I'm a one woman show and I'm not a what you would typically think of as a corporation. I kept forgetting which header tag I used for each of the headers in the sections about knowledge. As you can see, I think in the end it was header 4, but actually, maybe it wasn't. If anyone wants to know, I'll tell you. My glasses seem to fall off a lot. But side note, even though I don't have a human editor looking over my post before I publish it, I do use Grammarly, the free subscription. I have paid for it in the past, but I'm just on a budget right now, so I'm using the browser extension for for Chrome. And look, here I am talking about how I don't have the budget to do something. I recently listened to a meditation about the law of attraction and abundance, and I'm starting to listen to it every day because it's time to change my narrative around money. Although I am a Taurus sun, and in human design, my conscious sun is activated by gate 27, and both of those elements to my personality are about resources and the material plane and somewhat focused on money. So that's something interesting for me to play around with in my own self-exploration journey. I always do that with the word parallel. Like, okay, so because I'm writing so fast on such a slow computer, I spell things wrong a lot. And even if I know how to spell them, I'll just ignore it later. And the way that I fix it isn't by going back and retyping the word correctly. I just right click and select the right spelling because that takes so much less time. Does anyone else do that? Oh, I actually rewrote it. But I think it was because my computer didn't have the word contribute or something. I can't go back right now, but it was something weird like that. Okay, so my boyfriend was talking to me about something while I was trying to write this, and that's why I kept looking over. I just told him I can't talk right now. It is funny to see which way your eyes look when you're thinking, because I think I saw on some crime show before that if you always look to the left, you're lying. I think that's within conversation though. So when you're actually writing, I don't know if it applies, but sometimes I do look to the left in these videos. Maybe it's to see what my boyfriend's doing. So, yeah, I just ended the last section by revealing what my next core value will be, which is contribution. And I think that a lot of ideas in this knowledge post are relevant to contribution. So, I'm excited to write that one next. If you have any requests for the way that I do these videos when I do the next one, definitely let me know in the comments. I guess I had a couple more thoughts to add to this section before I decide to go into the next one. Switching from an exclamation point to a period is hard for me because I feel like I talk in conversation in exclamation points. Right now, I'm just talking to no one, so periods are more relevant. Okay, I figured it out. It is H4. I have no idea why I decided to use this example of microwaving lemons, but it's just what came to me in that moment. I probably could have picked something that made a little more sense with the post or my business, but now you know. Found our I just want to say really quick to my future self that the goal for people with emotional inner authority is a sense of calm. So you're not in the high of an emotional wave or the low of an emotional wave. And that's how I've been feeling lately, is just like in a calmness with all the stuff I'm creating for STARRYUU. And as a 3-5 profile, you've heard me say that everything is an experiment. It's really hard to live a normal life with a normal job and be able to experiment whenever you feel the creative urge like manifestors do. And I finally figured out a way to be able to give myself the time to experiment however and whenever I want. So, although it seems random that I'm making this video, it's just what I felt that I wanted to do and had to do. And I've been working on this post for 2 days, and the video is quite long. And now I'm recording audio for it. And it just feels like something I have to do. And I have no idea why. Just had to go on my phone real quick. And I was checking to make sure that my Saturn placement was in Sagittarius because I was pretty sure it was, but I didn't want to lie. And I have an open head and ajna center, so I cannot remember anything. At this point, I felt like I had to take a break because the words just weren't flowing. So here I am at 2,524 words, and I'm just scrolling through. I liked what I changed at the end here. It needed it.